Thursday. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. 12:29. That's what the clock is saying. Yes, it's a Thursday, and usually on Thursdays, people like to do Throwback Thursday. I mean, some people already got their very old photos, on social media, letting everybody know that, yes, I have moved from grass to grace. For some other persons, they've got those kind of pictures that will just show that they're aging like fine wine. Have you got those kind of pictures? Well, if you've got them, it's a good day to share on social media. Let your friends know, let people know that once upon a time in your life, you used to be like this, but now things have changed. You look better. Okay, well, on the show this afternoon, we've got a conversation you and I are going to have. And this is fresh. It has to do with something that happened just yesterday. I don't know if you also heard the story. I mean, the way we heard that story about the waste the waste, the bagged waste, Jesus, dumped on the median somewhere on Iwofe Road. The way we got that story, like, Omo Ibitins. So I don't know if you also heard when the first rumor of heads. In fact, what we got was 7 heads, 7 bodies. And I was like, whoa, where is this happening? And they were like, Iwofe Road. I'm like, do we have pictures? We were just trying to find out who's got pictures. Like, how come? All right. So we'll talk about responsible sharing of information. Yeah. Someone was even giving advice yesterday, talking about how, young girls should be contented. Young girls. They did not see anybody. Speculations. And they ran with it. All right. So we'll have that conversation, responsible sharing of information. But I've got a question for you. And the question is, how do you check the credibility of a report before sharing? Of course, usually sharing is on social media. But then there's also the verbal sharing, because people also went about sharing the news like it's the gospel when it is not. So how do you check the credibility of a report before sharing? I mean, for those of us who are journalists and we have some form of relationship with other people or with people at the helm of affairs, you can easily put a call through to some agency and find out what you need to find out, right? But for you, as a person who is not privy to the phone details of these people, you can't easily reach out to them, or it doesn't come to your mind to call them to ask. How do you verify? How do you check the credibility of a report before going about to share it? I'm pretty sure that some who went about telling every other person, 7 heads, 7 ladies, all over Port Harcourt yesterday, they also heard from someone. So how do you check before you share? All right. And the same question will come up when the conversation actually starts proper. Okay. What else is happening? 1:10. There's a program. It's recorded. How many minutes is this going to last? It's going to last for 15 minutes. Okay. There's a 15 minutes recorded program at 1:10. But before 1:10, we have the news, trending stories. And of course, 2 o'clock, another news. That's news updates. And then we're going to have Mind, Body and Soul. Today is World Sight Day. So we get to talk with some ophthalmologists, eye doctors, they're called. And they get to talk to us about World Sight Day. All right, so yeah. I'm Constance Irele Mega, and this is the Sunny Side. Good afternoon to you once again. So let's delve straight into this conversation. Responsible sharing of information. It was in the news at 12. I'll just read it to you again in case you missed it. Or maybe you heard it before. Hear it again. All right. So the Rivers State Waste Management Agency, RIWAMA, has clarified that some bags of waste dumped on median in Iwofe Road, which residents said were lifeless bodies, are poultry remains. Now, residents in the Iwofe area of Port Harcourt actually voiced concerns about a strong stench coming from about 5 sack bags placed on the median in the area. Now, some of them who spoke to our correspondent said they initially thought the bags were filled with lifeless bodies because of the stench. This kind of odor that makes you do... And so they urged the relevant waste disposal agency to promptly remove them. Can I get that sound right now? I would like to play it so you will hear how the people said what they said. Okay, let me just quickly find it. It should be somewhere here. Yeah. So here we go.
This place for back before we the think say na human being, but today environmental come so come check. I think fowl and the goats and the everything. I don't know carry and come up for Iwafi Road near OPM. So now since that day where they do election, then carry the thing come up here. So see that we never rest here, and this thing don't give us sickness. For me, even though my body they turn me, all my children sick. I beg, I beg. Why they beg every people where they in charge of this thing? Make them come out.
They affect me too much. Almost 4 days now. We never rest. So make them come help us.
And the stench is very, very strong. People around there, and it is very serious. Even if you are in a taxi or keke passing, you cannot breathe until you get past that place.
All right, so that's what they said. But the initial story was 7 heads, 7 bodies. And I was asking, who counted? I mean, who saw the 7 heads, right? Of course, you heard one of the residents over there saying, well, we initially thought it was human beings, so because of the stench, so we would not blame people for that kind of speculation, right? Because that kind of smell now, it shouldn't have stayed there for that long, but that's not the conversation for today, right? We're not here to do that thing. So my own focus today is on responsible sharing of information. All right. So clarifying the situation, the acting sole administrator of Riwama, Prince Ohia, said the bags are filled with poultry waste. And he also said Riwama officials have visited the area. Now we have a feedback that these things have been removed. But how do you check the credibility of a report before sharing? Do you have friends in the media who you get to call, send a WhatsApp message to? I have a couple of persons who would always reach out to me on WhatsApp to say, Bebo, we hear this thing. Not true. Please verify this. Even my family members, they would always post and ask. All right. But how are you able to verify? Right? Because we got the story yesterday. I could see how the reporter, editor rather, on desk yesterday frantic, yeah. How she was trying so hard to reach out to someone before our reporter could get to the place. You know, she would call the reporter, where are you right now? You say, I'm still on the way. You say, okay. And she's trying to reach anybody she could get who is around the area to actually find out what exactly is going on before we then had to reach out to Riwama and speak to their boss, right? So that is because, I mean, we're a media house and we have to do all of those things to ensure that we don't give you fake, wrong information. So how do you check? That's just one story. There are so many other things that happen, and then people go about and they tell lies about people. They carry stories they cannot verify, and that's it. They say, I know somebody, the person I know that shared it. I saw it on, they said it inside. How do you check? How do you verify? The number to call is 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0002, and 0817 923 0002. Patrick, I did not say bad waste. I say bagged, inside bag, waste inside bagged. All right, now you get it. 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0007. And of course, I'll take messages via WhatsApp. All right, 0809 030 6416, 0809 030 6416. And yes, we're live on Facebook, so please get on Facebook as well. Tell your yard people, all right? Let your family members know, even those of them in the abroad. They should join up on social media. Let's have a conversation. Nigeria Info 92.3 PH for Facebook, and Nigeria Info PH for X. All right, when you call, please stay on the line. Do not be in a hurry to disappear. We have a call screener, so stay there, all right? Until you get across to me. Thank you. La 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 la. And then in the course of this conversation, right, in case you've ever been in a situation where perhaps a story about you that was not true was spread and you got to find out. I mean, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? Somebody said he heard that somebody said he was sick, whereas there's nothing wrong with him, right? So how do you verify? If you hear someone is sick, do you call the person to find out, how are you doing? They say they're sick. Are you sick? or do you just carry the story and run with it? Ezekiel from Ubumini, can I hear you?
Good afternoon, Constance.
All right, good afternoon. Welcome. Go on, please.
I think giving out or dishing out information depends on the individual. Because we have thought people. We have those who know how to cook up information. So giving out valuable and credible information is to confirm the details before you disclose the information to anybody.
Okay, so how about you, Ezekiel? So I like to personalize conversations most times. So I want to know, how do you check the credibility of any news or report you hear before you share?
That is what I'm saying. Here in my community,
Yeah.
before I call you, I make sure that I have some facts in terms of questioning. There are some unverified information that has been given to my hearing, but I decided not to share it with people because I myself did not verify that information.
Okay, apologies. So I'm seeing that we're still having that issue with the phone lines. Okay, here's what we're going to do. If you can, please call me via WhatsApp, all right? Call me via WhatsApp, 0809 030 6416. I'll just take this one and hope that this works. Hello, Justice.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You're calling from Omudiaga. Welcome.
Yes. What is the issue of what happened at the Monte Road? I create content. I express on social media. So one of the way I get my information is based on the capacity of the media house. The media house is a platform. So while I go out to get information from my phone, I still rely on media houses that I thought that the information are very clear. I believe that whatever information you get and you share on social media is very clear because you hardly share information that are not reliable. Now on that,
Okay, Justice, apologies. I have to let you go. Your line is not clear as well. I have another caller here. Hello.
Hello, Constance.
Good afternoon. What's your name, please?
Hello, Constance. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. What is your name?
My name is Michael.
Okay, Michael, go on.
On the matter of this about cross-checking information before sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, are you there?
I can hear you.
Okay, I think it's something that requires critical attention. It really has to be looked into. The reason is because half-baked information can cause pandemonium in the society. Mm-hmm. You know, for me as a person, I don't share information carelessly. If I receive information from a source that is not reliable, I tend to, or I happen to carry out my own investigative findings. I carry out investigations, find out if it's possible to get information from eyewitnesses before I share such information. Because unfounded information and half-baked information is tantamount to destroying a society by causing pandemonium and anarchy.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling. All right. So I'm still taking your thoughts, though. So we're going to do WhatsApp, please, be clear. And I can't really help it. The network is networking. So until the network has fixed up, let's do WhatsApp calls, right? WhatsApp messages as well. So 0809 030 6416. That's for WhatsApp. 0809 030 6416. How do you verify information? How do you check the credibility of the story, the news, the report before you start distributing on social media, before you start distributing on every media or telling your yard people? I'm pretty sure that there were so many stories on election day. We heard a lot of them. And as much as they were coming in, we were not quick to carry them in our bulletin. Yeah, because we also needed to verify. You just can't push things out. Now, for us, it's because this is not an individual move, right? It's an organization, and we have a license to do what we're doing. So if we do the wrong thing, it will backfire. So, but for you as an individual, how do you verify? Hello, Mr. Zion. I thought I picked that call already. Hello? WhatsApp calls are good though, Mr. Zion. I don't know what you did. All right, Mr. Zion, please do well to call back. Thank you. Who do we have here? My cousin just posted on a group chat about CBN seizing some banks' licenses today. I'm still trying to verify because what he posted can really cause pandemonium. Interesting. And the same thing happened, I remember, after the initial story of, what's the name of that bank now? The Green and White Bank. Heritage, right? Yeah, after the bank, I'm trying not to use the word folded, but okay, that's just like the general English streets word. So you now heard people, mentioning other banks and saying those ones also are affected. And at some point, the CBN had to come out to say, we do not withdraw anybody's license, so it's only this one. What's all this story? All right? So sometimes you could just be here in Port Harcourt and then you hear about something happening somewhere in Port Harcourt. How do you verify that that information is correct? That's what I want to know. Zero 0809-030-6416. 0809-030-6416. I mean, someone already called in and more like took the words right out of my mouth, talking about how misinformation, half-baked information, incomplete information, or incomplete truth can actually lead to some kind of trouble in the society. So I can imagine the amount of anxiety amongst people in that area yesterday. Hello, Mr. Zion, you're welcome.
Thank you, Constance. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
It's a very interesting discourse you brought this afternoon. At least just to deal with the issue of rumor mongering and spreading fake news. First of all, if I come across any breaking news, I go to the Twitter. They are accredited blogs or individuals, professional individuals, that over time I have justified their judgments. I can hold them liable, and to a large extent they have never failed. If they have not carried that news, I don't study the news, I don't even talk about it. If these individuals have posted it on their status or on their blog, I know that yes, this is true. Now, come to the home front. There are certain radio stations, if they have not announced that news, I don't believe it. I have to wait. Come down to the neighborhood. There is a particular guy that always tells me everything. In fact, this guy goes anywhere, any length, just to have the first-hand information. Now, so thing happened here, and I believe the boy, and his name is Keleu. Not information this boy don't have. And let me be honest to you, because of that, I'm sponsoring him in school.
That's beautiful.
Sometimes he will come home just because of information. You like it or not, I want him to be an investigative journalist in Nigeria. So sometimes when I say let us be hopeful about the future, I know what I'm saying. A lot of our children are one of those that have this prospect that have changed my dynamics, that our problem is not yet over. There is hope. So for the news aspect, I make sure I go through the sources that I know that in case if this news is not true, this organization will be, their reputation will be at stake, or the regulatory agencies may come after them. So I look out for news from those people before I even discuss about them. Mr. Zion.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. Good afternoon, Constance. I actually wait for reliable outlets to confirm any news before posting it anywhere on socials, because it's easy to spread rumors and it spreads like wildfire. But that's a message from Bright. Bright is texting from Rukwaku. All right. Good afternoon, my air lady. For me, I am not too quick to share things. I always wait to hear from credible sources before opening my mouth. Even in the media, it's not every source that I believe. I have few media outlets that I can bet my 1 year salary on. Anything I hear from them, once it's coming from them, I'm good to go. It's imperative to verify every information from a reliable source before sharing. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. So, I've heard people talk about, what's the word now? Reliable, right? Reliable source. So how do you know that a source is reliable? Who is your reliable source? I mean, Mr. Zion says he has Skilly on his streets who gives reliable information. All right. Some time ago, I think it was about 2 weeks or so, where somebody was trying to tell me something, and the person was more like trying to push me that I should tell my news people now so that they can carry the news. I'm like, eh. So the person saw how reluctant I was. You know, you don't want to do breaking news now. It's not how news organization, that's how people thrive now. First to break the news, I say, we don't used to do that thing again. Nobody wants to be first to break news again. It's before. Now that we know better, we're not in a hurry to break news. Now the story from Iwofe, we carried it before we were even able to hear from Riwama, because of the way it came about, right? Now, but this is how we carried it. We carried that story, letting you know that it is the people there that are saying that they are suspecting that it is this thing. We didn't say that this is what it is. Because sometimes I've also realized that people even listen to the news and they do not listen to the words used. They do not. You hear stories and you hear stuff like residents in the area said, eyewitnesses said, and you say, it's Nigerian for that said it now. No, it's not. We attributed the information to the source, to whoever it is, to where it is coming from. So we just pushed that out and then continued, because our reporter hadn't even gotten to the place yet. We're still trying to get over there, trying to reach other people, and then had to reach out to Riwama. So how do you even find out? How do you even know that what you've heard on radio, what you've read on, what are they called now? The newspapers, right? The ones that you trust. How do you know that what they have written, that they are 100% sure? Because if you don't even know, if you don't understand the language used to convey that information, you would also miss it. You would say they said, whereas they attributed it, they ensured that it is the person who said what, or where they got the information from, that they pushed in front of you to let you know that it is not our reporter. It is the people there that said this. You know, these days there's also this breeze or wind that's blowing all over, especially in Nigeria today. I don't know about other countries. This is where I live, where you find out that people just want to be, for whatever reason, they just want to be one of the first persons to also break a story, break whatever news. There's there are just a lot of people trying to claim investigative journalists. They are not even journalists, first of all. They're not. But they want to be, so that someone will say, you know what you're doing. They're just going about catching every story, catching every report and pushing it out on social media. I mean, these days, even gossips, things that you heard people discussing, you're not even sure what the conversation is about. People that are taking recordings and posting online these days. I'm trying to remember a statement that one of the Peace Square boys, Peace Square men, Peace Square guys used yesterday. Something about freedom of information and freedom of... I've forgotten the way he puts it. Maybe I'll find it and I'll read it out to you. Do I have commercials coming up? Let me see. Oh, I've got them. I'll be back. Stay tuned.
Nigeria Info. Right back after this.
Get ready, Port Harcourt. The tech event of the year is up.